Welcome to the Moon Magic Tarot channel. Thank you so much for joining me. In today's readings, we are asking your higher self to receive guidance from the Akashic records for you. So we're going to be using the Akashic Tarot. We're going to draw 3 cards from this pack, first of all, the Sacred Spirit reading cards, just to guide you in. We'll draw a rune and a charm as well, as always. And yeah, we are asking your higher self to connect with the Akashic records to bring you guidance right now. I'm seeing this card. This card. No, actually it is this one. Here we are. Okay, so let us have a look. Reading number 1, Cosmic Ancestors. You have the card of Cosmic Ancestors. Reading number 2, Kundalini Rising. Wow, very powerful energy. Reading number 3, Sacred Divinity. Okay, now let's draw from the runes. Okay, so reading number 1, Cosmic Ancestors, which is also Voice Your Concerns, and the rune of Nourishment. Reading number 2, Kundalini Rising, Ignite Your Passion for Life. You have the rune of Fertility. Reading number 3, Sacred Divinity. There are 2 paths ahead, and you have the rune of Ice. Let's draw a charm for each, for those of you that like that extra guidance. Okay. Reading number 1, you have Lizard Energy. Reading number 2, you have a key, but a very special key with a skull on this, a sacred skull I'm hearing. Reading number 3, you have Kundalini Rising, Ignite Your Passion for Life. I should just read as well for you, Fertility and the Skull Key. Reading number 3, Sacred Divinity. There are 2 paths ahead. You have the rune of Ice and you have the Tree of Life. Okay, I'm going to leave the video running just for a moment. For those of you that need a little bit more time, you can always press the pause button as well. The timestamps are in the information box and the comments for phone users. Tons of love and see you in the readings. Reading number 1, welcome. You've been guided into this reading by the card of Cosmic Ancestors, Voice Your Concerns, by Lizard, which is a Dreamtime energy, and the rune of Nourishment, of Possessions. This is about ambition satisfied, the fulfillment of something. Now, Lizard is an energy of entering the Dreamtime, almost being able to dream the future consciously. And the card of Cosmic Ancestors is actually a card that acknowledges, it's like a card that invites you to step up in some way, shape or form. It's like, it's connected to your pathway, your calling, learning from the ancestors, taking your place in some aspect of humanity's evolutionary journey of consciousness. So very, very relevant to this kind of reading as we are going to be using, we'll use lots of cards, but we're going to draw from the Akashic Tarot predominantly. We are asking your higher self to connect with the Akashic records and bring you guidance. So I'm going to place that card, no, actually I'm going to put it just where it was. Let's draw from, we'll draw some oracle cards, I think, first of all. Ooh, that's absolutely 2 flying out for you, and I'm seeing a third. Oops, I think that's 2, yep. Okay, let's turn these over, and then we'll draw from the Akashic records. Princess of Purity leaps across. Beautiful card. Gosh, you are your higher self connecting to the Akashic records. There is a shift within you, and it's very much to do with your karmic destiny. Blessing to begin. Oh wow, this is absolutely priestess of perfect pairing makes the match. Gosh, this feels like your higher self is telling you something about timing. The timing is absolutely right for you in some way, shape or form for something to be happening and emerging. Your your 2 additional cards, my apologies. Ceres, nurture, descendant, invitation. I'm seeing these cards as literally you're going to be given something, a blessing to begin. You're being given, there's a situation or a circumstance around you that is actually creating a leap across something from one position to another. It's like stepping up and becoming a spiritual warrior or an earth warrior, or it's like, I'd say fighting for a cause. I'm not sure fighting is involved, but it's becoming an active participant in some sort of cause that is beyond just yourself. It's like joining a group where you take an active role in transformation, and it's transformation to higher consciousness. There's an invitation and you're going to be nurturing. It's like earth energy coming in to nurture, to make something possible. Blessing to begin. The Princess of Perfect Pairing makes the match. Let's place these cards over here. I sort of almost feel as well, you know, with the card of nurture, that there may have been circumstances going on around you for quite a long time that at some point you're absolutely going to see with clarity, like the lizard energy, the dream time. You'll see with absolute clarity that lots and lots of experiences have led you to this moment. You may not have realized it when you were experiencing them. Some of them will perhaps have been really good experiences. Others may have been really quite challenging, but it's like every single one of those experiences were leading you or contributing to who you have become to be in this moment right now. Let's draw the astrology dice as well. Yes, look at this, the sun in Aries. This is new beginnings. Aries represents new beginnings. It's the first sign of the zodiac. It's a house of new beginnings. It's interesting, Chiron is currently in Aries and will be for a while, and with the Chiron energy of healing, we are each as individuals here, I mean this is part of the bigger collective, we're each as individuals being asked to step into some aspect of our own personal healing, which will then radiate out into the world in ways that actually also stop some of the generational patterns of destruction that take place within humanity. That's a very big task that's going on at the moment in a big way. And yes, so the sun source energy is available for you. Gosh, the timing is so right. There's something impeccable about the timing for you. Let's draw from the Akashic records and see more reading number 1. Wow, that's a lot of cards. I still think there may be more yet to come. Yes, Let's see what we are shown here. Right, super love this card. Caught in the ruins, but it's in reverse. Now, this is very, very interesting. So your higher self is tuning into the Akashic records. Caught in the ruins means you have been trapped. You've felt trapped. Maybe you've maybe felt quite isolated. You can, I don't know, you could be in a football pitch full of people and you could feel completely alone because you don't resonate with those people. Sometimes we're born into almost like a family and we feel like, I don't know, like we've been born into the wrong family. I've met lots of people in my therapeutic work. For those of you who are new to my channel, I worked as an accredited psychotherapist counsellor for over 28 years. And my own calling is very much to bridge the gap, to bring that knowledge into the world and connect that bed of knowledge of soul evolution, really, which is what therapeutic work is all ultimately about, and to bring it into form through our spiritual ways of working. Anyway, digressing, but I have met many, many people who even as children used to imagine or dream that they had been adopted, in their adult lives. They would, because they just felt that they didn't belong, they didn't fit. There's something about, being a square peg in a round hole. Now, Caught in the Ruins in reverse says that situation is coming to an end. It's like finding your niche, okay? And it does feel as though there's the timing feels very impeccable. You're finding your niche. There's an invitation coming your way, something being offered to you that means that you leap across what could have felt like a void with blessings to begin. Princess of Perfect Pairing. Let's see what else we are shown. So this is very interesting. We have On Track. Again, it's in reverse. Let me show it to you the right way up first. Again, this is very interesting because this says that you've been waiting. Look at this, the timing, the clock. Signposts here on this lamppost. You've been waiting for something. It's like waiting for that moment for something to begin. The timing is now right. What you are leaving behind, here we go. The chess game. This is in reverse. Now, the chess game it's telling us that there's been some kind of game playing going on around you. In reverse position, you've had enough. You're not putting up with it anymore. You can see it for what it is. Okay, you're no longer prepared to do that. Voice your concerns. Voicing your concerns doesn't necessarily mean voicing them out loud, but it means voicing them to yourself and then taking action. It's becoming a spiritual warrior, a person of cause. Archangel Gabriel. Now this is interesting that this card is in reverse. Okay. We have the Architect, One of Keys. Beautiful energy. We have the Queen of Scrolls, also in reverse. Is that all still visible? And then we have Two Worlds, Two of Scrolls, also in reverse. Trying to see where best to place this card. I think I'm going to place this just over here, actually. Very, very interesting in finding its place here. So, reading number 1. The timing here is really quite significant for you. The Architect, One of Keys, is asking you to, or saying to you, you are in a space where there is an invitation for you to literally take charge, to step up. Everything in this reading is asking you to step up. What I do see is that there is either reticence, a little bit of anxiety, maybe fear around kind of almost like money versus your calling, like caught between two worlds in some way. In reverse, I feel this card is saying to us, look, you're actually ready to almost like take the leap. You're ready to take the plunge. You've been reticent, but the timing is really important. You may even have been procrastinating, getting caught in your own head. For some of you, there's just been the energy around you of people that have made demands on you in some way, shape or form. The timing is really right for you to take action. There's something here. Now, it's very interesting with the Queen of Scrolls also in reverse. In reverse, this card does suggest an ending of some sort. It does suggest that, yes, that there is a parting company with something here. I am interested with the Two of Scrolls, whether it's like taking the leap. The timing is right. Blessings to begin. This is very interesting. The rune of possessions, nourishment, nourishing the ground for your own deliverance, nurturing something. That there's a dream. Your higher self is saying, look, you've had a dream. The turtle, the lizard. Interesting, turtle came to mind because turtle energy is about new beginnings, building something new. I think you've had a dream or a passion to do something, to take a different road, something that feels as though it will be much more in alignment with who you want to be. And that's the difference. It's to do with something that resonates with you. Back to what I said about being a square peg in a round hole. Something hasn't fitted. But in a way, I think you've needed to experience something of that because those experiences will actually contribute to what you actually are now going to build. The message from your higher self that's coming through predominantly for you in this reading number 1, is that the timing is actually perfect to make that leap, to create that change. Now we're going to draw some more cards. I feel it's really important to follow this through and get more information for you. Aries, Sun in Aries, this is absolutely a space of new beginnings. To be leaving an environment that has previously felt restricting. I do think for some of you there is a connection to your work. We see in this card upright a woman she spins, she has a spinning wheel, and there are a few gold coins on the table. This is somebody who has worked and worked and worked and worked just to get by. There's a new beginning here, but this isn't a reading of abundance in the sense of your sort of wealth in material terms, although I see your wealth being met, that's for sure. This is to do with the abundance that comes from the inside out. So reading number 1, you know, when you do what you love, it flourishes, so the material wealth will come to you. When we really follow a calling and we're doing something with a passion, it starts to really work. It's like once you sit in a zone of inner abundance, the external world will begin to align with you. But it's this point of choosing to let go of something that you've been doing perhaps for a long time, and your higher self is saying it's time to let go of that. If you've been caught in some sort of internal pattern, I mean, this reading may on some level for some of you just be speaking about some internal pattern of sabotage that's been going on for a long time, and it's now time to climb out because it's been holding you back, stopping you from moving forwards, tangling you up in things. But the timing is right to let that go. For others, and really the message that's coming through here for all of you in a bigger way from your higher self, tuning in with the Akashic records, is that there's a new pathway here for you. There is an absolute pathway that it's like finding the calling, the job, the whatever it might be, I do feel that this is for a lot of you relating to some aspect of career, but it's finding the something that makes your heart sing. It's the perfect match for you. You have blessings to begin. We'll draw a lot more cards here, but I am actually going to draw some runes for you. Okay, wholeness. This is the path you must follow. There's only one way to go. Reading number one, there's only one way to go. As I said that, you know, I felt my heart lift. It was really interesting. It's like you've tolerated something. You've been tolerating something that just isn't right for you. It's time to move forwards, to let go of something. Someone, a group of people, a thinking pattern, whatever it is, it's something that's held you back. I do feel this is, we will draw a lot more cards. I really feel the need to see this through. This reading feels very, very important. Your higher self tuning in to the Akashic records. So it's really learning. For some of you as well, it's learning that you have the right to do this. You know, square peg in a round hole. You don't have to do what has always been expected of you. You don't have to be compliant. That's coming through. Cosmic ancestors. This is like addressing those relational patterns and saying, I don't have to do it that way. Just because you thought it should be done that way. You know, I'm not judging or criticizing you. This is how it is, you know, for me, and I must do it differently. I must follow my pathway. I must do it my way. Hagalaz, the rune of disruption. I'm loving this reading. I am loving this reading. Reading number one. Hagalaz, in this instance, as I'm hearing it, is, I mean, Hagalaz really is a wake-up call, a wake-up moment. It's like, do you know what? Can't do this anymore. Sometimes Hagalaz comes in the form of something unexpected happening that means that you can't go on anymore, or in a particular way. Sometimes it literally is, it's that slow awakening where we keep seeing things and we think, oh no, it'll be all right. And then suddenly there's this moment when we just think, do you know, it's not all right. I really can't do this anymore. You know, you're being shown signs. You know, if something's not right, it really isn't right. Trust, it's really not right. It's really time, you know, you're being shown something, even if there's something that's really challenging around you. Really challenging around you. Even if you've been feeling very trapped and caught and stuck in some way, shape or form, it's time to shift and move forwards. Look at this, we have the rune of harvest, which is a rune of promise. It's a fruit-bearing rune. We have the rune of journey, and we have the rune of strength. Now, harvest is a rune of promise. It is literally exactly that. It says, you know, if you nurture, nurture the ground for your own deliverance. If you sow seeds, they're gonna grow, okay? If you plant something, it's going to grow and you will bring in the harvest, okay? Blessings to begin. The journey rune, this is, sometimes it means that we journey within. The journey is the inner journey to remove blocks to success, to having, to entitlement, to being happy. Ultimately, blocks to being happy. Remove those blocks. There's something you can have that you haven't believed you can have. Very strongly coming through here. Enter the dream time. What is it you really, really have been dreaming of? And this is not, as I said, this is not about material stuff. I'm not saying that the material game won't come, and we will look at that in the further cards that we draw in just a moment, reading number one. But this is like something at a level of soul that you've been yearning for. You've been living in a manner where it's like there's a piece missing in your world. Square peg in the round hole stuff again. You are being given the validation, blessing to begin, the strength to continue. Archangel Gabriel in reverse. Now we're going to do a bit of energy shifting. In fact, we'll do some energy shifting in this reading right now, and then we'll draw more cards. I feel we need to move, we need to help you to move something forwards here because the timing is perfect for you to do so. Archangel Gabriel in reverse is speaking about miscommunication and also offering you a level of support, saying, look, if you look to your ancestors, if you reach to the Akashic records, if you connect to your higher self, you will receive the signs and the signals you need to be assured of the harvest that will come. It's like there's a wobble around you in allowing yourself to let something progress, to let you take that leap into the unknown, trusting that this is right and it will come to you. So we're going to shift this Archangel Gabriel card into the upright position. This is what we need to do here in terms of energy shifting. So what I'm going to ask you to do for just a moment, reading number 1, just sit with, listen to your body. You know, we carry blocks and all sorts of things inevitably within our sort of physical body, within our sort of physical system. It's where emotional blocks kind of almost manifest, you know, literally at a cellular level. We carry stuff within our bodies. So there's something here that we're going to kind of shift and release around your entitlement to take that step, to exit the waiting room and get on the train. Okay, that's what we need to do. In fact, that's actually what we're going to do. We're going to shift this card too. So sit with how you are feeling just looking at these cards. I'm going to use some amethyst crystals. Amethyst is a master healer as a crystal, and these are amethyst points. So we're going to use some amethyst points. Now what we're going to do is sit with this right now. What we want to do is free your energy up, remove any limiting beliefs, any blocks to believing that you don't deserve to nurture yourself and your dreams. Because there is an invitation being offered to you right now. It may be coming through the form of signs and signals and synchronicities, happenings around you that feel intolerable. Okay, but there is an opening within that. The opening for some of you is letting go and moving on to something new. For some of you though, it's not about that. It's about stepping up. It's about remaining in the situation but having your voice your concerns. This is a card of stepping up. It's like finding your calling and finding a way to do that. And the card of Archangel Gabriel brings us that energy. It allows you to step out of your safe zone and into a space where you pursue something that really matters to you. So it may mean remaining in a situation, if maybe you're at work and you're not speaking out about something. It may be letting go. It may be just allowing yourself to receive. This is a generic reading, so it will apply to you each in a very unique way. But your higher self is saying to you, you know, I have visited the Akashic records on your behalf. And I can see that the timing here is completely right. It is completely right for you to move into a completely different zone, which feels very risky, of having something that is going to be a fit for you. Priestess of perfect pairing makes the match. Now to do this, we need to shift some energy because some part of you has deliberated, procrastinated, thought it probably could never happen, or, you know, when we rub along nicely, but we're not really living, we're not flourishing, we're not vibrantly alive, something's missing, we're not allowing ourselves to receive. All of these things will be relevant to you in some way, shape or form. Now, sit with your physical body. You may be carrying genetic information from previous generations that also didn't believe that they could have. For whatever reason, you may have been given those messages from previous ancestors in your ancestral line. But actually, there are other ancestors out there in the universe connected to the Akashic records who are saying to you, part of your journey here is to right that wrong, is to change that pattern of disbelief or a lack of entitlement. You know, there's been a vast history of inequality within humanity that is needing to be addressed. So many of these things will be resonating. It's unique to you. So let us shift the energy here. Let's bring in these beautiful master crystals. I'm going to place one here at one end of your runes, your runic message. You have the rune of strength tells us that the universe has your back. And we're going to place the other crystal here around that. And with that, we remove these cards. The game playing, the tangling, the procrastination is now behind you. Okay? It is time to get on track. Okay? Come out of that waiting room. The timing is right. Your direction is going to be shown and made clear. It is time for you to have something. If you are concerned about communication or worrying, reach out and ask, and signs will be given to you. The information you need will be shown. Someone will arrive, or something will happen, or you will see something or hear the words of a song, or something will happen. Every time you ask for something, if you have a wobble, something will come to you to assist. Could even be a reading like this. Okay, so, I feel like I want to breathe out, which is really interesting. I almost feel like I was almost slightly holding my breath as I was talking, which is really interesting. I always listen to what takes place, both in me and around me, in my sphere of vision, even looking out of the window in front of me. Yeah, very, very important time of transition for you, reading number one. This is a very, very important turning point. Now, let's draw more cards and follow this through. So I'm going to be asking, may we have information, please? For reading number one, I'd like to know, that one was also showing, may we see how this is going to proceed and progress as reading number one, step up. Step out of their comfort zone and step up. May we have more information about the outcome, what we might be seeing and be shown for reading number one. I feel this card, and this card. Okay, let's see what we are shown for you. Page of Wands, gorgeous energy. Where can we place these? Here. Queen of Swords, Five of Cups, the Tower. We have the Three of Swords. Yay, celebration, Four of Wands. Gorgeous energy. We have the Three of Wands, the Four of Swords. Now, where can I place these cards so we can see where we're going? I think we can, if I move this along a tiny bit. I didn't want to cover up nurture there. It felt really important to still have that. Three of Wands, we are looking ahead here. And then we have these cards, Four of Swords and the Knight, the King of Wands rather, my apologies. Okay. Oh gosh, now I can breathe. Isn't that really interesting? This reading is affecting my lungs. It's really curious. I'm finding myself feeling that. So that will be relevant to some of you. I think it's also to do with release. What I would say to you, if any of you are finding yourself yawning, in my therapeutic practice, there are certain methods of release that we use. And to help people release tension, anxiety, to let go of things. And when I use some of those techniques, people would significantly yawn, and then of course they'd apologize, and I'd be like, don't worry, your body is releasing. Okay, so there's something here you are needing physically to sort of let go of just within you. There may just be some of these family, for some of you, ancestral, family heritage, but the stuff that we really don't want to inherit. There's some letting go of things here, healing things. Now, Page of Wands, this is great. So this is about the manifestation of something that you have been, you've wanted it. Square peg in a round hole, but somehow you didn't quite feel, you've been tangled up in circles. Now it's time to kind of shoot that arrow, to throw that baton out there, to put it out there. It's time to make it happen. Can you actually see here as well on this card, on this this figure's trousers? They're really tiny, but there are lizards, tiny little lizards. And there's also like an eagle here as well. Vision. Isn't that amazing? You've had a vision, and it's time to enter the dream time, to trust that this can happen. You don't have to be the square peg in the round hole anymore. Hold your vision. Five of Cups. This is a card, we've got the Tower, the change is coming, so the timing is perfect. And if you are finding yourself in a situation that's really uncomfortable, it's genuinely, this is really, really, really happening to tell you that it's time to embrace what you really want to do rather than what you don't. The Five of Cups, I always feel, is a card where we can feel a bit down in the dumps. But it's actually a magnificent card of opening. Can you see there's almost like this black hole here, but the light in this black hole is magnificent. It's a space of new potential. When we really are prepared to notice something and say, do you know what, if I've been rubbing along nicely, I haven't really been living though. There's a piece missing. Whatever that is for you, I want that, and I'm now prepared to say to myself, to commit, I want that. The architect, becoming the architect of your own dreams. I want that. I want that. If whatever's missing, if you see somebody and you can see that they've got it, they've got what you want, instead of feeling down in the dumps and thinking, oh, I wish I had that, you can say literally, I want that. That's what I want. That's for me. It shifts that energy within you. This is you having something really important. There's a shift. Ask for it. And there is a healing here. I love that we have 3 of Swords and 4 of Swords. This change is coming. And we have the 4 of Wands, which is a celebration, a card of celebration. I love, look at this. Isn't this gorgeous? We've got 3 of Swords, 4 of Swords, 3 of Wands, 4 of Wands. Beautiful, because the 3 is something coming to an end. And here we have 3. Archangel Gabriel, communication happening, things being brought to you, things that you need being shown to you. Now, the 3s are that turning point. 3 of Swords, end of a conflict, the healing of a broken heart. It's time to move forwards. There is an opening here. You need to nurture it. Okay? Don't assume that it will happen overnight. Princess of Purity leaps, blessing to begin. This is a beginning for you. But wow, look at the potential. King of Wands here. Woo! This is as close to the hero as the hero. I was about to say the emperor, but it is. It's a card of being a hero, being your own hero, standing up, being someone being the person who counts. Your voice counts. Saying it, doing it, being it. I don't have to be a square peg in a round hole. If it doesn't fit for me, I'm going to move to something that does. If it doesn't fit for me, I'm not going to just pretend it's not happening. I will find a way to say, actually, this isn't all right. We can put this right. Let's work at this. How are we going to do this? There's a card of celebration. You will need to nurture this into being. We've got the card of nurture. There's an invitation for you to step up right now, whether that's leaving something or stepping up in your current situation. the opportunity is here for you to have that voice and to become the bigger, better person that you absolutely are. Just excuse my intake of breath, but look, what do we have on his t-shirt? Can you see there is a lizard? Wow, the dream time. This is like becoming the future that you want to believe in. This is something so significant here. Wow, just wow. Now, this person has the rune of fertility on her arm. Fertility is a rune that, it's a fruit-bearing rune, like the rune of harvest. Completion of beginnings. You have to give yourself permission here. That's what this is saying here. Give yourself permission to nurture this dream into being. Commit fully to yourself and just say daily, create affirmations. Daily, I am entitled to have a voice. I am entitled to believe. That bit that was always missing, I can have that. I don't have to be the square peg in the round hole. I can find my tribe. I can ask and the signs will be shown. This will come to me because I deserve it. All these things. And this isn't about unrealistic affirmations. It's about real affirmations that are really, really possible. This is a reading of possibility. And your higher self is sitting in the Akashic records, looking through this and saying, you may have had many lives where it was not possible. And you have come here now because in this life it will be possible. And now the timing is right for you and your experiences, the genetic lineage you are in, the stuff that you have torn your hair out over. Now is the time, and this is the moment of possibility. And if you are feeling cramped, stopped, stuck, now is the time for that shift to occur. And wow, we have the Four of Wands, celebration. Looking ahead, the Three of Wands, looking ahead into that space of possibility. This will come to fruition, okay? Harvest. This will come to fruition. Whatever this is, whatever the piece was that was missing, whatever the square peg in the round hole, you're about to find the square hole that fits. Or if you're a round peg, you're about to find the round hole, whatever that may be. You are going to find the perfect match for you. Whatever is not working is showing you, reading number one, that there is another way of doing this that is better for you, or of having a voice, and actually other people are going to rise up and say you're absolutely right, or of believing and having, and it will arrive because there is an invitation. Just nurture that internal self-belief, because in that black hole there is a sparkling opportunity that is being given to you, and the timing is right. Reading number one, however this is resonating with you, wow, I do feel, and look at this card, the imagery in this card is extraordinary. I placed the lizard up here. In this card here, I mean, you can see, I'm sure, look at the lightning coming out. There's like a black hole in this card, and right in the middle we have that spark again. And look at the lightning in the Tower card here, building from the rubble. Look at the butterflies coming out of, you know, the Tower is about the tower falling, but we build from the rubble. We build from our experiences of the past. The lizard is the creator. It's not just entering the dream time. The lizard energy dreams the future into being. Wow, there is something, you guys have a contribution to make in some way, shape or form, and I really just want to honor what that contribution is, whether it is simply elevating your own well-being, happiness and contentment through a change in your world, or whether you, in which case you will be a role model for others, or whether you are literally stepping up into a position where you have a voice. It will make a difference to others. This reading is more than just you, but it is your role within that, whatever that may be for you, in the uniqueness of your own individual circumstances. For some of you, you are stepping into a position of a ladder forwards, let's say, or a ladder upwards, of significant leadership in some way. You will, through the very example of you, be bringing and contributing to something that is way bigger. big respect, reading number 1. Big, big, big respect to you. Super Souls, this is a timeless reading. I post a lot of these and I put them all into my timeless readings playlist. Any of my videos, I always put the link in the comments for phone users and in the information box below. I put lots of links in there. But there is always a link to the timeless readings playlist. So should you have a wobble and again you need extra guidance, tune into readings like these. In that timeless readings playlist, there are lots of readings that answer specific questions that are there to help you and guide you along the way. If you'd like to get notification of anything that I upload, I post weekly guidance every single Sunday. I post a moon forecast as well, all sorts of stuff. If you'd like to connect in with those things, then do just check them out. I'll put all the links in the information box. There's a whole library as well I have of like emotional and psychological knowledge that is there. It's the A to Z of emotional health. I'll put that link in there too. It's a completely free resource. It will always be free. It's full of audios, videos and meditations that help with emotional release and transformation, help you to understand your emotions as a source of empowerment rather than, you know, the negative ones I'm talking about too. There's just a ton of stuff there. So yes, just access anything and everything that is of value to you, reading number 1, because this is an amazing turning point for you. What else can I say? Yes, I'm going to be doing some tutorials. Several people, or well, quite a lot of people actually, more than several, have been asking me about wanting to learn to read cards and runes and things like this. So I'm going to, on my Patreon site, because some of you are really, I mean, bless you, thank you so much for giving back through Patreon, for supporting me and the library through Patreon. I'm going to be uploading some tutorials. If you're interested in that, what I'll do is tack a little video on at the end of these readings just to tell you a little bit more about those tutorials, so you can find out more about how that's going to work if that is of interest to you. Yeah, I'll put a little video on at the end rather than talk about it. Super Souls, I'll put all the links in the information box below. Tons and tons and tons of love to you, and monumental respect, because the timing is so right for you. And if you're struggling with something, there's purpose to it. It's the opening. It's telling you it's time. Tons and tons of love, reading number 1. This is a really big time for you. I'm you know, wow, it just is. Tons of love. Reading number 2, welcome. You have been guided into this reading by the rune of fertility. Beautiful energy. This magnificent key with the skull and Kundalini rising. Ignite your passion for life. Now I'm going to place that here before diving in. I mean, this is, and I could say things about this, but I think I'll draw cards first. We're going to draw some oracle cards. And then we're going to draw from the Akashic Tarot, and we are asking your higher self to visit the Akashic records and give you information right here and right now. Oh, that was definitely showing itself. Is that enough, or do we want one more? Yes, I feel we want one more from this pack. Okay. Let's have a look at your oracle cards first. Right, your first card is Anchor to Fly. Well, this is really interesting. This card came out in reading number 1 as well. Blessing to begin. We then have Grandmother Dragonfly holds the wisdom. And her joy renders the impossible task possible. Wow, okay. Well, reading number 2, this is quite significant. Let's have a look at your other 2 cards. You have Debilitated and Home. Very interesting. The card Debilitated, discomfort. And I'm seeing stairways leading upwards. What is going on at home that is uncomfortable for you? that is actually creating an opening for you. Right, let's move these cards down here. I'm going to throw the astrology dice for you, and then we'll draw from the Akashic records. Right, you have the Sun in Taurus. This is sort of fascinating for me, reading number 2, because if you were drawn to reading number 1 as well, this may have some resonance with you, because reading 1 actually had the Sun in Aries, and now we have the Sun in Taurus. Taurus is the next sign. We've got Aries and Taurus. You guys may want to watch reading number 1, which turned out to be very, very long, but quite extraordinary as a beginning. Blessings to begin. This card was also in reading number 1. This may be giving you additional information from if reading number 1 resonated with you, or you thought of both. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. I won't say too much. You need to trust your intuition. Right. What we can see is that there's some sort of discomfort, I think, but the purpose of the discomfort is to free you. It's absolutely to free you. Blessing to begin. I love this. Her joy renders the impossible task possible. Grandmother Dragonfly holds the wisdom. Anchor to fly. This is, for me, feeling like a very powerful key. It's got the skull. It's like sacred wisdom, a sacred pathway in some way is being opened up for you. Your passion is being ignited in some way, shape or form. Right, let us draw from the Akashic Tarot. Let us ask your higher selves to enter the Akashic records and bring you the information you need to hear, bring you guidance right now. I'm seeing these two. Actually, those two. And we will draw as many cards as we need to follow this reading through. Right, clearing the way. This card is in reverse. The Scribe, beautiful card, upright. Birth, magnificent. Okay. The Buddha prepares, it's in reverse. We have the Spring Autumn card, so this is the autumn energy coming up. We have Uriel and the Sphinx, again in reverse. Okay. I am actually feeling that I need another Akashic card here, so I'm going to ask for one more card, please. There it is. Thank you very much indeed. We have the Queen of Scrolls, which is really interesting. This card was in reading number 1, I think in this exact position, but in reverse. Does feel like this could be leading on from. Okay, but for some of you it will be absolutely right just in its own right. So reading number 2. Sun in Taurus. Let's start here. Slow and steady wins the race. Something is being opened for you. We have this key. It feels for me, and I think the reading is really acknowledging this with the Scribe card, that there is an opportunity for you that is literally like it can be both life-changing, not just changing your own life, but changing the world opportunity. There is an opportunity of significant potential, blessing to begin, that is actually starting to be anchored. There is opportunity around you. This is an anchor point of a new beginning. Now, very interesting. Gosh, these are such powerful readings. Wow. So first of all, I need to say to you that just the discomfort in the home. I think that this is simply saying that, you know, don't be held back at this time. Don't stay in your safe zone. The timing is right. We've got 2 4s here, which which I think is really, really relevant. Well, no, we've got more than that. So we have birth card 4, 4 of keys, 4 of forces. Now, both of these are in reverse. First of all, clearing the way. When this card is in reverse, an obstacle that you thought was in the way is going to be removed, and it's going to be removed easily. I don't think you have to do the removing. If there was something in the way, something holding you back, that door is actually going to be opened for you. Someone is going to open a door, or a circumstance will open the door, and that door is your blessing to begin. So yeah, you don't actually have to strive to make something happen. Literally, it's going to happen. The birth is ready. Now, slow and steady wins the race. The Buddha prepares. I do need to say, if any of you are entering or thinking about entering some aspect of higher learning, higher education, doing a course of some sort, if you've been wondering how you'd get the finances, I think they're just going to arrive. So there's going to be an opening, a doorway will open that will allow that possibility to take place. To have the scribe and the Queen of Scrolls would suggest, and the Uriel and the Sphinx in reverse would suggest, that there is learning to be done, higher learning, greater learning. You may be offered a job opportunity that has learning attached to it. You may be given an opportunity where you can move something forwards. And as you move something forwards, you are going to learn and grow, but the way is going to be cleared for you. Now, the Buddha prepares, when it's in its upright position, it asks you to wait. When it's in its reverse, it suggests that the timing is actually right. But it does also, for me, suggest that there's a degree of one step at a time is what I want to say. It sort of feels that it's coming through. Ignite your passion, Kundalini rising, fertility. There's something of profound opportunity for you to actually build. Uriel and the Sphinx in reverse. Now, in reverse, this card suggests that, we'll put it upright, Uriel and the Sphinx, this was buried, actually, under the sands of time. In reverse, it suggests that you're needing to, again, to learn, to dig out something, to reveal something, to bring something to light, to write about something. If you are thinking of writing a book, or you've been working on something, I think the right person will come to you, the right agent, the right publisher. If you're in a job where you wanted to step up and extend your higher learning, then the right opportunity will come where you'll be supported. The way is being cleared. Something's going to be offered to you. The pathway, the key is going to open the door for you. It's absolutely delightful, reading number 2. Because it's like with the energy of the sun, source energy in Taurus, slow, steady progress, building something earthy, that earthy wisdom. Grandmother Dragonfly holds the wisdom. Dragonflies are about transformation. Something that you didn't think, either you didn't think you could do it, or you thought you'd do it in one particular way. An opening is about to come to you that will enable you to then move forwards and do it sort of, I almost want to say, in the right way. Now, quite genuinely, where are we now? We're in August. I'm doing this reading in August. Now, for those of you that follow my readings, you may be tuning into this as I've uploaded it to you. So we're coming into the autumn. But for others, if you are finding this reading, because this is a timeless reading, autumn may have significance to you. If I'm honest, I think the most important aspect of the autumn part of this card is about harvest and fertility here. There's something that you are wanting to build, write about, grow, bring forth. And the timing is right to begin. But this really is a reading where it's about It's about a doorway. What your higher self is looking at in the Akashic records is that this is a moment in time when an opportunity is going to be given to you. The way will be cleared for you. Obstacles will be removed. You know, it's like setting off on a journey and you've allowed the right amount of time, but you know that and you knew there were roadworks along the way. And suddenly every light, you know, and you're a little bit concerned, but you know, every light turns to green. The timing is right for you. And you think, wow, the universe really had my back today. You arrive in that massive car park and the parking place that you needed right by the door is there so that you arrive in plenty of time. It's like something's being fueled for you, being opened for you, being offered, and you're needing to take those steps. Your higher self is saying to you, you don't have to force this to happen. An anchor point is being given to you where the key is going to open that doorway to fertility. This is something that you're going to begin. You may have worked on it already. It may be the spark of an idea. You may have the outline of something. But you're going to bring it forth. You're going to take it further. And it's absolutely connected to your own dreams, passions, desires. I'm going to follow this through with more cards, and actually we'll draw runes as well. Do you feel there's more? So your first rune is the rune of journey, followed by the rune of flow, followed by the rune of strength, and then we have the rune of disruption. We then have the rune of constraint. Interestingly enough, it's come out in reverse, I think, and then we have the rune, either way, it's here. We have the blank rune, right. Actually, maybe it's not in reverse. Either way, it doesn't really matter. We have the rune of constraint. Right. This is this moment of waiting. What I feel like, debilitated, discomfort, home. I feel like there's an impatience around you. Almost like you are... There's an exciting element to your impatience, but you've had an idea, a thought, you've wanted something, and things haven't necessarily moved forwards. There's been this feeling of constraint around you. You know this idea, this desire has possibility. You feel passionately about it. Whatever this is for you in the uniqueness of your world. What your higher self is saying to you is, look, don't let your impatience get in the way. You know, when we really want something, or we see something and we want to see change and we want to bring about something, and we want to make a contribution, we want to find our calling, but we don't yet know what it is. And this is sort of, I feel like you go home at the end of the day feeling, oh, this isn't working, or why isn't it happening? Actually, the way is going to be opened for you. You know, the harvest is going to come. In many ways, your discomfort has, strangely enough, been a part of the journey of awakening here. Disruption. This is the rune of disruption, Hagelas. Sometimes the rune of disruption brings about a sudden change, which may happen, I think, because I think a doorway is going to open for you. Literally, I think you're going to be handed a key, metaphorically. But it also sometimes means that we've been living in a way that something, where something is niggling, not okay. We gradually come to our senses about something. We see it clearly. Discomfort, we experience discomfort. But actually it's that discomfort that, interestingly enough, shows you what your calling or your purpose is. It shows you the direction. if something isn't sitting well with you, it's because you want the opposite. It's showing you that you want the opposite. And this is part of the way that we can actively work with the law of attraction. When we're given an experience that is contrary to what we want, we're not being given it so that we can go over and over and over it and dwell in the discomfort. We're being given that experience because it is a contrast to what we actually want. So something pisses you off, in basic terms, it's showing you that the opposite is what you want and desire. Okay, if you see an injustice, your passion to put that right, to make it different, Kundalini rising passion, comes from the discomfort. You decide you're going to do something. There's an awakening in some way. But the interesting thing in this reading is that what your higher self is saying is, look, don't dwell in the discomfort. A doorway is about to be opened for you. A key will be turned. There will be, I think, an offer of something. And it's literally it's a blessing to begin. It's giving you, it literally opens the doorway to something that you have been thinking, gosh, I could do this or I could do that. Actually, that doorway, that key will be given to you, and it will create that opening. You get to do the study, to write the book, to step up into the higher position, to do whatever it is that you have been wanting to do, to uncover something, to bring something forth. That this is the Uriel and the Sphinx in reverse. It's a card that, for me, it's telling us about fertility. The timing is going to be completely right for you to birth something into the world, to play a part, to carry that role. It's time to bring in a harvest. But there will be work to be done. It isn't a point of completion where the harvest is done. It's a point where your desire, vision, dream is anchored, and you have the opportunity to make it real, to bring it forth. Literally, to reveal it to the world, to bring it out, to come out, to be there. Ta-da! But to making this reading is all about making it real. There's something that you're going to make real. Literally, you're going to manifest it into form. Something you have thought about, dreamed about. The opportunity is coming. The key will be given to you to manifest something into form. Really interesting. Her joy renders the impossible task possible. 4 of Keys. The way will be cleared. The door will be open. Let's draw more cards for you. Reading number 2, and ask for more information about this. May we ask? This is amazing. But let's draw more cards. Can we have more information for reading number 2? Ooh. See those and those 2. Here we go. Let's follow 3. Oh wow, the sun. You have the energy of the sun. Okay, fabulous card. Let's place that here. We see that? Do you know what? We're just going to stick it right on top of that one. There we go. Let's just create a new row here. 2 of Pentacles. You have the card of Justice. You have the card of the Lovers. You have the Magician. Wow, you have the Fool. Look at these big major arcana cards coming through, bang in the middle. Justice, the Lovers, the Magician, the Fool, the Sun. 8 of Cups. Interesting 6 of Cups. Now, as most of you will know from my readings, I don't always read cards in reverse. I am going to leave this card in reverse. It's telling me something very specific, because you are leaving something behind that used to hold you back. 5 of Pentacles. In fact, let's place it up here. Yeah, this is her joy renders the impossible task possible. 6 of Cups, Five of Pentacles, Knight of Wands. Right, if you have been hindered in some way, shape or form by a lack of funds or money, if you've been worrying about something, honestly, I think the route to your funding will be given to you. If you've wanted to bring something forth, that's the key. You're going to be given the resources you need that you have previously felt you've been worried about it. The energy is coming, the sun, the energy is coming to you to make something real. Whatever that is for you, it's really, it's a significant opportunity and a significant opening. For some of you, it is about righting a wrong, okay? It's bringing something back into balance, okay? If you have been working in an environment where equality, or it may be equality or something has not been right, you'll get to put that right. If you've been working in an environment where your passions are there because something's been out of balance, there's an opportunity. Whatever this is for you, there will be an opportunity to right it, to bring choice into people's lives. Your contribution, the uncovering of something, the showing of something, the revealing of something, is going to bring balance back and activate people's choices. It's like you become a pioneer of choice. So people will be able to live differently. If you have not been sure about what this is, how this could happen, or you felt it would be impossible because you don't have the funds or the resources, I think that key is going to be opened. The doorway will be opened for you. The Magician, the Alchemist, the Fool, new beginnings. The Eight of Cups, you're moving to that new future. Look at that. Somebody just, I feel it's like somebody lit that spark of passion for you. We have this singing bowl here with a fire in it. Something that you have experienced, something you have experience of I think for a lot of you, you're going to make a significant contribution to something here in a personal way. But you're going to walk to that new future. It's being promised to you. Discomfort has given you that contrasting experience, and your contribution to this is going to affect more than just you. Having your voice, bringing your Kundalini rising, igniting your passion for life. Your very fired upness is coming. Something you really wanted to do, to bring forth, is going to emerge. The key will be given to you. The funding will come, the doorway, the opportunity. Look at this. Look at this. What do we have in this card? We have the key and we have the door with the lock just waiting to be opened. You've had to wait for this. Going back to frustration, I think you've had to wait and you've had to bear some frustration. This is the pivotal moment. Your higher self is saying to you, the moment is coming where that possibility can be made real. You have experienced frustration. You have felt things to be a little bit intolerable or, not working. But the universe has your back. This timing is right. For some of you, you may travel. There may literally be an opportunity that moves you to a different location. That won't be so for all of you. The rune of journey is sometimes about journeying within. In this instance, what I am hearing and seeing in this reading is that actually, here we have the Eight of Cups moving forwards to a new dawn. I think the rune of journey is saying to you, look, the way will be cleared. The pathway is being cleared, the door is being opened for you. All you actually have to do is walk through it. You don't have to open the door or strive to make it happen. That will come to you. The key will be given to you, so don't get despondent. Don't get frustrated. Your frustration is simply showing you what isn't right so that you can actually walk towards the situation that is right for you. This is really beautiful, reading number 2. That turning point is here for you, but in a real way. That's the joy of this reading. What is about to be given to you is a key that opens the door to something that you've wanted. It may not come in exactly the shape or form that you thought. Disruption. So just be aware of whatever comes. Really interesting message coming through here. Whatever comes into your life, view it as a potential opportunity. Even if it looks like something that you thought wouldn't take you in the direction, you know, if you've had a direction, if you've had a something and you thought, you've had a very clear idea of what you think you want to go towards, okay, and something rocks up and you think, well, it's an opportunity, but it's not what I thought it was going to be. It's actually the key that will open the door to the direction you want to go in. So just follow through with it and do it, because it's going to be the key, okay? It's like that space of trust. I think you have a really significant contribution to make that will help people to live more balanced lives, more aware lives, more equal lives. And the opening to that is coming. You may have to step into a space which feels unknown, and it may even be that you think, well, I'll do that. It doesn't feel quite right because it's not really what I wanted. But actually, it is the doorway. It's taking you to something else. It's actually opening that pathway for you. So just go with it. Even if it doesn't feel, it's really interesting. I always say to people, trust your intuition, listen to your gut feeling. But if an opportunity presents itself, and it's bringing you the funding or the security or the something that you need, it's actually opening a doorway that will clear the way. There's more than one step to this. Yeah, it's not quite as you thought it would be. The Six of Cups is actually a card of looking back. I said I wanted to leave it in reverse. And this is what's saying to me that the steps, it may feel even as if you're going back to something that some of you will revisit something, an idea or something that you had almost like you'd shelved it. You had an idea about something. Maybe it was you've started writing a book, and suddenly you remember there was an idea that you had about a storyline, and you shelved it. You didn't think you were going to do it, and suddenly circumstances are popping up and you think, oh, reminds me of that. There's a revisiting something that you looked at once before and you may have put it to one side. I think some of you will be going back to something that you temporarily put on the shelf. You parked it. And I think actually it may actually hold the key to the next step forwards for you on this pathway of contribution. There's something you're going to bring forth here. You're going to make a difference. And don't worry that honestly the right key will come for the right doorway. Yeah, some of you are going to revisit something, an idea or something that you thought might be a good idea. You thought it was great. You haven't even dismissed it. You may have just parked it for a while, but it's bringing you something. It's bringing you an opening that will then lead to the fulfillment of so much more than you ever thought you might contribute. It's literally a starting point of manifesting things into real form that are ultimately going to bring about the most incredible space of possibility. It's literally stuff that was bigger than you could possibly have imagined. Her joy renders the impossible task possible. The journey takes you forwards. I love this card as well. Grandmother Dragonfly holds the wisdom. I want to say from that's exactly where there's an element of kind of trusting that even if something shows up and you're offered something and you think, well, I wasn't quite sure about that, or it's something you parked, do I go there and revisit it? Just trust, go there, look at it again. Let your passion ignite. Feel your way through this, because there's an element of illusion here where our mind can play tricks on us. This is an opportunity. This is what's being shown in the Akashic records right now, your higher self sitting in those records, looking at this journey, this karmic pathway. This is a time when Something very key is being given to you that will open up a pathway that will be bigger and bring more possibilities into your world than you could possibly have believed in. Wow, this is awesome. And it really, everything here is about making it real, literally manifesting stuff into form. Reading number 2, I feel we have reached the end of this reading. Super Souls, I'm blown away by the potential being offered to you. It's coming in, it's happening, the key is going to be given. Revisit. Yeah, for those of you for whom that resonates, that was a message coming through very specifically for some of you. Possibly not all, but for some. Super Souls, I am sending you all the love in the world. If you'd like to get notification of any of my readings, if you subscribe and press the little bell icon, they should come into your stream. I will put a ton of links in the information box for you to connect to resources and stuff that I put into the world for free. I'm also doing, lots of people have been asking me about tutorials and learning more about reading cards. I'm going to, through Patreon, I'm actually going to be doing some kind of tutorial kind of type videos, supervision type videos. I'll put, I don't want to talk about it too much and detract from the reading, but for those of you who are interested, if you're on Patreon, you'll know with me. If you're supporting my work there, you'll know about it. I'll have already posted there, but I'll put a little video about it after the reading. So for those of you that are interested in perhaps learning more about learning to read cards and runes and things, you'd like to know a little bit more about those tutorials, I'll put a video on at the end of these readings. I'll tack it on at the end. But Super Souls, this is an amazing time for you. Fertility, abundance, wow, possibility, but making it real, making it happen. I mean, just, yeah, seriously, wow. Reading number 2, sending you all the love in the world, tons and tons of love to you, and thank you so much for being here and for being a part of this amazing community. Thank you for subscribing, liking, sharing, and for those of you who are giving back through the super thanks, and indeed those of you who are on Patreon already supporting all the work and the free stuff that I do. Just sending you all the love in the world. Welcome, reading number 3. You have been guided into this reading by the card Sacred Divinity. There are 2 paths ahead. We have the Rune of Ice and the Tree of Life. Now I think first of all we will draw some oracle cards, and then we're going to dive into the Akashic Tarot and ask your higher self to visit that library. And I'm going to do 3 of those actually, and tell us and tell you whatever it is that you are needing to know at this present moment from the Akashic records. I'm seeing this card too. Okay, let's have a look at these oracle cards before we begin. We have Surrender, Sensitive Sister, Be Moved by the Moon. Wow, look at the moon here. Wow. And Sisters of the Sacred Spiral. Okay, I can see where this is going, but let's see what else we're shown first. Move those up because we're going to be drawing a lot of cards. Okay, so we have Pluto, Rebirth. We have Sagittarius, Expand. And we have the card of the 8th house, Mystery. This is very, very interesting. Okay. There are 2 paths ahead. Now, we'll draw from the Akashic cards before we really look at those. But what you're being asked here right now, or what you're being shown already from these cards alone, is that there's something to move into, and it connects to, it's one of those moments when I think you need to follow your heart rather than your head. Okay, there's a rebirth, there's expansion, there's something a little bit unknown about moving into, that you're moving into. There are 2 paths. I sort of feel like both paths are the right path, which is probably a contradiction in a sense. It may be that you need to follow one now and the other may follow later. But I do feel like that almost as if there isn't a wrong or a right pathway, and yet the one that's right for you at the moment out of those choices is the one that it's like, yeah, follow your heart rather than your head. You know, it's not necessarily the logical option. Let's draw from the Akashic Tarot and see what we are shown. We're asking your higher self, that card is already showing itself, to go into the Akashic Library, to be in the Akashic Library and show you whatever it is that you need to know right now about, and reading number 3, about the 2 different pathways that lie ahead of you. Let's have a look and see what we have here. So we have, gosh, a lot of these cards are in reverse. 8 of Keys, the Master Artisan. Let me show you the upright position. 8 of Keys, the Master Artisan, and it's in the reverse. Oops. Let me just place that there. We then have Will, Wisdom, and the Mind. Again, it's in the reverse position. We have the Lightning Bolt, also in the reverse position. Oops. Struggling to get my cards to sit evenly. That's fine. We then have the Bird's Nest in the upright position. We have Up in the Air in reverse. We have the Akashic Field. This is what it looks like, and this is in reverse. And we also have the Sands of Time in the upright position. Right, I'm just going to pause the video and straighten the cards out for you. Okay, so hopefully you can now see all of the cards in view, and we will be drawing more reading number 3. So, what your higher self is telling you is, or is really tuning in, you're at a turning point. Something that you thought you were on one pathway, and now either that pathway has shown some kind of early rewards or early potential, and suddenly that potential isn't showing up continually, or something's happened it's like something's come to kind of an abrupt stop in your world. And as such, there is more than one pathway in terms of where you go. But it is interesting because I think what I'm seeing is you're really not actually sure quite which way to go next. Something that you thought was going to happen changed. I mean, it just changed. The direction, the vision, the what you thought was going to happen has stopped. Now, what I do see, and your higher self is bringing reassurance here, actually. Your higher self is saying to you, look, it sort of, basically, it had to sort of stop for a reason, okay? I'm seeing for some of you things that have gone on before, but something in recent times that's really around you right now has come to a halt. A pathway you thought you were on has stopped, and it means you're no longer on the track that you thought you were on, okay? Or you're questioning whether the track you thought you were on is the right one. Very interesting, very interesting. Now, there's something about the timing of stuff that we can't see. You know, when sometimes something suddenly comes to a halt, or just something suddenly comes to a halt, the bigger picture, things are no longer as you thought they were going to be, and we kind of enter this space of mystery. Now, what is curious here is, you see, I think decisions are needing to be made. The Sands of Time is a card that sort of says action is going to be required on your part. It's almost as if the challenge really here for some of you is, do you keep going or do you choose a different direction? For some of you, I do think you already know that it's a different direction, but you're probably not clear as to what that direction is. For others, it's, do I remain on track because what you were doing appeared to be showing, you know, rewards and early success or ongoing success, and yet at the same time, you know, at the same time, you know, it's something has definitely come to a halt. You thought you were building something, the tree of life. You thought you were building something, and that changed. It's very interesting because the Master Artisan in reverse, you know, this is a card in the upright position. We see someone creating a kind of a life of, you know, this is the Master Manifestor, I always think. Creating an amazing world. Something changed, and it's almost like it's time. This is really interesting because your higher self is in the Akashic records saying, actually, it's kind of time for a situation to be reversed. I think you invested a lot. You worked very, very hard. This feels like a time for the universe to give back to you. And interestingly enough, for you to relinquish control over trying to make everything happen yourself. It's why I'm saying follow your heart rather than your head. I don't think this is a time for rebirth. It is a time for action. It is a time to expand and to move forwards. But it's also a time when it isn't a time for you to... This is what your higher self is saying. It's not a time for you to actually make something happen. This is definitely a time for the universe is going to give something back to you. You don't have to think up, what might I do next? It's as if the universe is actually going to give you some opportunities, some pathways. We're going to draw some more runes and we're going to draw some more cards, reading number 3. In the Akashic records, this is a point of standstill, but it's standstill with purpose. Now, some of you may be sort of panicking a little bit, I almost feel, thinking, what do I do next? I have to do something. I must do this, or I must do that, or I must find the next pathway, or I must keep this going. I must keep this pathway going already, or I must find a different direction. There's pressure here. This reading is saying to you, remove the pressure. Stop trying to make it happen. In the same way that, you know, if we think of things like the butterfly effect, for example, when we, you know, it's like when a butterfly flutters its wings, I don't know, here in the UK, let's say, for example, and then something happens in New Zealand, you know, and there's a cause and an effect. What this reading is saying, it feels very profound actually, reading number 3, is that there has been some really big cause and effect stuff taking place in your world. I'm seeing for some of you, there's been a significant number of events historically, and some of which were very, very big in what I would call relatively recent history. So maybe in a year ago, maybe that kind of timing, a year or so, within the last couple of years. That's what I feel we're being shown here. I will just voice what I'm hearing. In fact, yes, 3 of Forces. So I want to say within the last 3 years, some very, very big things happened to you. Now, okay, globally, in the last 3 years, big things happened to everybody because of the global implications of COVID. But there was there's bigger stuff that took place that changed the course of your world. And now in recent times, maybe even as recently as the last 3 months, but in recent times, a pathway that you thought was clear has ceased to be clear. Yes, again, 2.5 to 3 years I'm seeing here. Very clear. 2.5 to 3 years, and the last 2.5 to 3 months, something changed. You expected to be doing something, and that's changed and altered its course. So it feels like things ground to a halt or came to a standstill, or a direction got altered. There's a bigger picture to this. So the events that have taken place in your world, this is what your higher self is saying, looking at the Akashic records. So your higher self in the Akashic records is looking at the past, the present and the future. And not only looking at the past in your life now, but looking at the past in your previous lives as well. What has taken place in the last 2 to 2.5 years, the bigger stuff, it plays a part in the bigger picture and in the direction that you are meant to be going in. It will have given you some insight, some piece of growth that was needed at a level of soul, and something of that will be important in your rebirth and your expansion. But it will take you into, it's like leaning into the great mystery, knowing there's a bigger picture here. For some of you, that may have involved a loss of some sort. Now, it actually contributed, your higher self is saying, look, this actually contributed to the pathway that you're going to be finding. It played an important part, but it was the last 2 to 2.5 years were very big. In the last 2.5, 3 months, 2.5, 3 years, 2 to 3 years, we're in these timescales anyway. In the last 2.5 to 3 months, another direction that you thought you were going in has either stopped, or you've been challenged and you're questioning whether you want to continue. There's actually purpose to this. Your higher self is saying, look, right now, things stopped with reason, because there needs to be a change and a shift. You are going to need to be, it's part of your rebirth, basically. This, whatever it was that stopped or that you've called into question, it's part of the emergence of a new pathway that will become clear. It will become clear. It may not be clear yet, and we'll draw some more cards to ask about this, reading number 3. It will become apparent, but right here, right now, it's as if the universe is still orchestrating some things. So things have been up in the air. Now, the up in the air card means that something is not yet ready. There's some unknown quantities. There's some other butterflies need to flutter their wings in other parts of the universe before something is ready to happen. In reverse, the same with the lightning bolt in reverse, it means that actually something is going to open up very quickly. So even though in the last 2.5 to 3 months you have felt that something stopped when you thought that was the route you were going on, it's going to change very quickly. A new avenue is this feeling like you're up in the air and you don't know where you're going. This is going to change quite quickly, okay? And when it does, you'll need to take action. There is real purpose to this. Your higher self is really saying to you, the events of the last 2.5, 3 years, the big events, there was a bigger picture, a bigger story unfolding. Those events contributed to who you are and where you are now. In the last 2.5 to 3 months, something's come to a stop because there needs to be an alteration, a different pathway. The universe is going to bring you something, and it's going to bring you something that is going to bring you great rewards. You've been through stuff, and now it's your turn to receive. And your openness to receive is very important. Surrender, sensitive sister. Be moved by the moon. You may even find that the opening tallies with either a new moon or a full moon whenever you're watching this reading. If you're watching this reading as I upload it, there is a new moon coming up very, very soon. If you're tuning into this, because it is a timeless reading, you can contact these readings, you can tune in with them at any time. This lightning bolt, this moment of awareness, of awakening, of happening, the up in the air situation is about to end. what you need is about to be given to you. It's basically time for the universe to give back to you. You've expended a lot of energy, and it's time for the universe to give something back to you. And then you get to take, it's almost like you get to take charge of something. You get to start to expand and move into a new phase of your world. Yes, your higher self is really trying to explain to you that there was a bigger picture, and even this recent change, delay, stop, you know, suspended animation, is that the right word? You know, when you, yeah, it's like something's felt suspended, not quite ready. The time to change is going to come really soon, which is lovely. There'll be a rebirth, there'll be expansion, and really a great honouring of the rebirth, of a new phase of life emerging. Really, I feel like basically if your life is felt on hold, you know, life itself is going to come knocking on your door and invite you back in. And you will need to take action. And when that happens, and I think it's going to happen very soon, reading number 3, the tree of life, what has taken place has contributed to some important factor that you needed, some important component of you that you wouldn't have had without the other stuff happening. And that's part of the awakening and the new phase of life that's coming to you. That's the future bit that your higher self is tuning into and saying, look, this is going to happen, this opening, you know, being held in suspended animation is going to change. This is going to shift, it's going to move forwards, and your time is coming. I'm going to draw more runes for you. Loads coming out here for you. Okay, right, our first rune. The rune of initiation. This is a rite of passage. Okay, really interesting. Very interesting, because it also connects to the energy of the moon. This is a rite of passage. What you've been going through was a very big rite of passage, both in the events that have taken place over the last 2.5 to 3 years, and what has taken place very recently is literally, it's like the end of that rite of passage where you get to emerge. We have the rune of flow. You're flowing into a new phase. This is going to open up, and it's going to open up very soon. Fertility, a new period of fertility, of fruitfulness is going to start coming. There has been a higher picture and a bigger picture to this all along, but actually, do you know, it was tremendously difficult. There was a lot of disruption to your life. It really has been there's been some quite big, challenging stuff, but it came with purpose. Ultimately, it's come to free you from something, to liberate you, to move on and move beyond something. Some of you really had to learn, and are learning, to sort of establish boundaries in a different way. We have the rune of constraint. We have the rune, yes, boundaries, discernment. The rune of the spiritual warrior, we have the rune of joy, and we have the rune of possessions, nourishment. Wonderful reading number 3. Right, for all you have been through, reading number 3, goodness me, there's been some big stuff. And whatever you in recent months have really thought, gosh, and I just thought I was on track, and now it's all come to a close, and it's just when I thought I knew at least I was on some sort of like even keel, and now even that has stopped. It's stopped for purpose. You've needed to re-establish a different set of boundaries and parameters around you, and rightly so, because actually what was right for you is no longer right for you. You've needed to change and grow, because what happened to you before was quite a big transformational phase, and it was there to take you into a higher plane. You're going to be stepping up here. It's going to end quite soon. You are going to be given some significant choices. And this is leading to joy, the rune of joy, a fruit-bearing rune, nourishment, possessions. You know, this is ambition satisfied, your dreams coming true. Both of these carried across the gap by the wings of heaven, out of darkness into light. I always feel the rune of joy is like we're emerging from the fog. fear, obligation, guilt sometimes comes into fog. This is magical. You are about to enter a new phase of fertility. Your rite of passage is complete. You've done that epic piece of karmic growth that spanned several years. As I said, 2.5 to 3 years of epic personal growth. I mean, it's like, I honestly, I think some of you guys would have just questioned whether you could ever come up for air. But life itself is going to come knocking on your door again in a big way. So this feeling like you just haven't got a clue which path to take or what to do is going to end. Surrender. Sensitive, I'm just going to say sensitive soul, although it says sensitive sister, but you know, this is because, you know, this is non-gender specific, and in this instance this reading is speaking to the feminine side of all of you who were beginning to wonder whether there could ever be any emotional leveling in your life, the roller coaster that you've been on. But listen to your heart, not your head, and trust. Goodness me, an opening is coming. You have done the karmic work. You've faced up to something. You've looked at something. You've processed something. Woof, big. And now this recent halt in the proceedings, slowing down, stopping, ending, whatever it was, has come with purpose, because the world is going to knock on your door in a big way. The time of waiting will be up and over, and you begin to move into a space of a very different future, because you have done that rite of passage which was required at a karmic level. There is a bigger picture here. We may never know the details of that. We'll ask for more information, but we may never know the exact details of the bigger picture. We can't always know. We cannot always know. There's something that's really coming through very strongly, and so I will voice it. And I don't consider myself a medium. You know, I know I channel information, and I hope I channel it well enough for you all. These readings, you know, that is why I do these readings, for many reasons. Not every now and then something comes through to me really, really loud and clear. Sometimes it comes through in a personal reading. Sometimes literally I will receive a really loud and clear message. And because that's not the norm for me, I read cards, I read runes. If something comes through and it's so glaringly loud, a message, literally I'm hearing it, then I know I need to voice that to the relevant person. And not long ago I met somebody. It was a very random meeting. It wasn't anyone that I had any connection to. I was helping out at an event, and I met somebody who happened to also be connected to that event, and such a strong message came through to this person, and it was really clear. They had actually, I will voice it, I can do so without breaching any confidentiality. The message came through that was really clear. They had historically lost somebody, and there was something, they'd got locked into some aspect of guilt or blame. And the reason I'm voicing this story to you is because the message that came through really, really clear was that there was a bigger picture. That person had parted under difficult circumstances, as in not the person that I was connected to, but the person that communicated through me. They had exited this world under difficult circumstances, and the person I'd run into had sort of got entrenched in that exit, and the message that was being given to them was there was a much bigger picture, and it had to happen that way because there was a bigger picture. And the message came through very clearly from the other side. It is time, obviously you have a choice, but it is time for you to allow life back in. It is time to love, to laugh, and to embrace life fully again. There was a bigger picture, and I think the living person was blaming themselves in some way, or had got tangled in this other person's exit. And the message from the person who had exited was really clear. There was a bigger picture to this. It had to happen in that way. It was like that butterfly effect. And now it is time to let go of that. And what the message was clear. They actually said, you know, you could have approached the situation in 20 different ways. You could have approached it in 100 different ways, and it would not have changed a thing. The exit had to happen in a particular way because there was a really much bigger picture going on. And that's what's being said here. The big events that have taken place, reading number 3, in your life over the last 2.5 to 3 years, there was a much bigger picture, and it was not your responsibility, and it was nothing to do with you. Your connection to this is that on a karmic level, there was a rite of passage for you to go through, because you've learned something from this that you will carry forth into the future, and it will possibly be connected to your own calling and contribution. What has happened recently is a slowdown or a stopping of something, because it is time for the universe to give back to you, to replenish you, to create new windows of opportunity for you. You are now going to be at the receiving end of life offering you something wonderful that will help you to rebirth, to emerge, to expand, and to enter the great mystery again, to live again, to thrive again. And there may well be more than one choice, but interestingly enough, the 2 paths ahead, I'm not seeing 2 paths, I'm seeing more a turning point, and those are the 2 paths. It's like there was a bigger picture. There's always a bigger picture, but this was so significant for you in terms of your personal growth. And the 2 paths were the previous experience, 2.5 to 3 years, and the more recent one, which also had to come to a standstill. You are going to be offered a significant opportunity. And the timing is absolutely right for you to take it. Life is going to knock on your door in some way, shape or form. We're going to draw more cards, and your higher self is sitting in the records looking ahead and saying, the timing here is perfect for you to begin again. Okay, let's draw from another tarot pack, and may we please ask for more information for reading number 3. It feels very important to follow this through and see what we are shown. Can we please get more information for reading number 3? I'm going to take all of those. And that one there as well. And also that one there. Ooh, gosh, they are really wanting to speak to you, these cards. Okay, they are really keen to speak. Okay, lovely. Right, your first card, the Page of Swords. Your second card, the card of Justice. Your third card, the King of Swords. Which I'm going to need to move these down a bit, because we're not going to, I don't want to bump into our runes. Love this nourishment. Ambitions satisfied. Here we have the Sun. Heavenly energy here. Oh, lovely. 8 of Wands. We have the Moon. We have the 2 of Wands. We have the 6 of Swords. We have the Hanged Man. We have the card of Strength. And we have the Page of Wands. Okay, great. Right, life is really going to knock on your door again. It really is. It's almost like you've probably, with the events of the last few years, honestly felt as though the scales were weighted against you. You know, when you get times when you just think, you know, come on, universe. It's like, you know, why did I even get out of bed? You know, come on, universe, cut me some slack, give me a break. You know, that, I mean, you know what I mean. I'm sure we all go to those places sometimes. Those places are also where we learn the most, but it's pretty damned hard. And, you know, honestly, you just want to kick the universe and just, don't you just? Right. You've done the learning. You've stepped up into that initiation. You've done it. That's your higher self in the Akashic records saying, way to go. You have stepped up. You have faced something. You've done it. It is now time for you to receive. The balance is going to be righted. Something is now going to come back to you. Literally come back to you. Not only will you gain clarity, but I think someone may well be coming into your world who is going to help to bring that clarity. If for some of you, I mean, this is a general reading, and therefore you'll know what it's speaking to you about in your own personal circumstances. If any of you lost a partner, whether a relationship just ended or whether you lost someone in some way, shape or form, I think someone new may be coming into your world. There is a real energy of newness coming in here. You're going to see clearly how to move forwards, and it's like the scales are going to right themselves. That sense of justice, universal justice will be served. You've been through some really shit stuff, and now the scales are going to right themselves, and stuff is going to come through to you. It really is. This is like the spark of the universe knocking on your door. You've done the rite of passage. And again, this opportunity may well show itself to you around peak times of the moon. It could be the full moon. We've got 2 full moons here showing up. It could be around the full moon and another moon in the center here. It could, this is Pluto, but with a moon. It could be around the time of a full moon or a new moon. But I think things are going to change and shift for you. You will be able, for the first time in a long time, to look ahead. You know, you really will be able to start to look ahead. It's like knowing that you are being guided. This is what your higher self is really saying to you constantly, much as I hope I made sense in that little story that I was telling you. I hope I wasn't, waffling incoherently, and my apologies if I was. But the gist of that story was that there is a bigger picture, and your higher self is saying to you, what has taken place had to happen. It had a huge impact on you, but it was having a greater impact on a much bigger picture. And almost as if the universe is saying that we're kind of almost sorry you had to go through so much, but it has provided you with a rite of passage, even if that felt unbelievably, particularly emotionally challenging. Look at the connection here look at the figure of these 2 women looking up at the moon. There will have been days when you just felt like you were drowning and you could find no emotional clarity. But it is now time to look ahead. The universe is coming, knocking on your door. For some, this is somebody knocking on your door. Literally. But you will know, you're being shown that you've always been guided, even if you couldn't see the way, there was always a bigger picture. And whatever recently happened, it had to stop with purpose, because something new has to come into your life. The Hanged Man, you are going to see the way forwards. It's going to become clear. We're going to come back into balance again. Interestingly enough, it is again, the extreme vulnerability that you experienced, 2 sides, 2 paths, the extreme, here we have 2 again, looking in different directions, the experience that you have been through, the experiences, took you to a place of acute vulnerability. And within that vulnerability, you are now ready to emerge. And from that vulnerability, you will come out stronger, wiser, even more amazing than you yourself could ever have dreamed of. Your higher self is saying, look, this is now coming to an end. The universe is now going to rebalance things for you. Okay? Whereas you were pushed to your extremes, now it's time for the universe to deliver to you. Okay, you can rebirth. Life is going to knock on your door. Everything you once thought you'd lost, You're going to find everything that you felt was taken away will come back to you. All the stuff that used to constrain you will now become a part of your armory that will allow you to navigate with discernment and clarity. It's basically going to be time for you to be happy, to find happiness. Reading number 3. You are going to, after all that huge deep diving, vulnerability, acute sensitivity, all those challenges, such interesting timings that came through here for you. You are being invited, or you are about to be invited, to rejoin the great mystery, to rejoin life, to live fully, to expand, to rebirth. It's like the creation of a new golden age for you personally. Your higher self is saying you were amazing. This was so difficult. It was such a trial, but you did it. You've got through it. You've learned. You are wiser. It is now going to be, an opportunity is literally going to knock on your door. For some of you, it will be a someone that knocks on your door. Not all, but one way or the other, that doorway is being opened. Your life pathway will become clear. You've done you've done a level of karmic work that, interestingly enough, it wasn't entirely just yours. It's exactly that butterfly effect. That was the story that I was trying to, as I said, possibly incoherently explain. What it was such a powerful message. I mean, and you know, when that happens, I have to take that forward and pass it on to the relevant person, because it doesn't, you know, when it happens, it's so important. There's that essence of that is here in this reading for you guys, reading number 3. That there was a bigger picture. You were in a way caught in the wash. It wasn't just your story, but you ended up experiencing that. As such, it will also have contributed to your story and to your personal growth and emergence. But it was a very tough call, because you were caught in the wake of somebody else's bigger picture as well. There is nothing you could have done to change anything. All that has happened had to happen. The contribution to you and the honor that's being shown you now, this is your higher self sitting in the Akashic records saying to you, you know, there is real respect being offered to you, and now the universe is going to give back to you to balance the scales again in your favor, because it felt like so much was going on, and it was because there was a bigger picture that was about more than you, and nothing you could have done could ever have changed that. It had to happen that way because it just did. It was not your responsibility. The learning that's come from it, you are really honored, and life is going to knock on your door in a big way. It has actually prepared you to be able to embrace what is coming and to bring about that fertility. It is time for you to find happiness. And I'm actually going to draw a few more cards for you, reading number 3, because it does feel important. I feel it's going to come quite soon. But yes, something's going to come knocking on your door, and it will be your time to embrace happiness. Now, I am going to draw a few more cards for you, just because it feels really right to do so. I think I'm going to use these. One of these oracle cards. May we kindly have another more cards for reading number 3. A little more indication of, I think it's these. That's what seems to be coming through. Princess of Purity leaps across. Gorgeous. Okay. Her joy renders the impossible task possible. White mantra mother protects. Beautiful. Okay. Okay. Reading number 3. Because of everything you went through, you may be very afraid of leaping into life again. You will be protected. This is not going to happen again. At a karmic level, you addressed something that was way bigger than just you. That is something in the Akashic records. You will no doubt have come here to play your part, and you did. You took it all on. Probably felt as though there wasn't a lot of choice, but you did. Now it is time for you to leap across the rune of joy here, carried across the gap by the wings of heaven. Okay, Princess of Purity leaps across. You will be fearful of embracing life again, of embracing life fully in case you feel that something else will go wrong. You've done the task. The Akashic records are addressed and put right in such a bigger way that was so much bigger than just you. You've played your part. You are amazing. It is now time for you to be happy. It is time for you to embrace happiness and to have happiness, whatever that means for you. That happiness is going to knock on your door. Seize the moment, leap and go for it. It is time for you to be joyful, to live, to laugh, to love. Whatever took place, it is time for you to move beyond it. You played your part, you were amazing, and now it is time for you to honour life and yourself, and life wishes to honour you. It's like you deserve this happiness, okay? It's so huge, it's just so huge. White Mantra Mother protects. You will never have to do that again. You've done it, you're free, you are protected. Beautiful. I just can't say any more. I hope that I haven't waffled too incoherently. It's just that it was so interesting that that message that came through for that particular person was literally to free them. You know, the message from the person who'd exited was to say to this person, look, there was a bigger picture. Now, for goodness sake, go and embrace life, live life, love life, be happy, enjoy, embrace. You do not need to be held back anymore. You did what you did, and there is no need to do any more. You did enough. You did more than enough. And now it's time. And that message was so clear. And it came to me in such an extraordinary manner. I mean, I can't say any more than that because it would be giving too much detail. But that has come to mind so strongly in this reading for you. It is time for you to live again, to love again, to laugh again. You did something that was part of so much bigger a picture. And now it is time for you to receive, and the universe is going to give back to you. You can enter that great mystery of life again, fresh, alive, ready to expand like a newborn all over again. Super Souls, I hope this reading is making some sense. It's a really, really powerful reading. I am just sending you all the love in the world. It's quite amazing when it's so clear that the universe itself is honouring you and inviting you to return to life. It's really powerful. Super Souls, I am sending you all the love in the world. Now, if this has resonated, or if you would like to get notification of any of my readings, do subscribe and press the little bell icon, and then they should come into your stream. Quite a lot of people, in fact quite a ton of people, have asked about learning to read cards, and particularly runes as well. For those of you who are on Patreon, who are supporting my work on Patreon, you'll know already, I've already made a notification there. I'm going to be doing some sort of tutorial work, and sort of just, yeah, anyway, what I'm going to do is I'll stick a little video on at the end of these readings for anybody that's interested in connecting in with those extra videos via Patreon or via Vimeo. It's not something I'm going to do on YouTube, but they will be there and available if that's something that you have an interest in. And as I said, I don't want to waffle on about it, but I'll put a little video on after these readings for anybody that wants to know. Any other relevant links and information I will put in the information box below and the comments for phone users. So anything and everything that I do and put into the world, you should be able to access it through those links. Just scroll down and read the information, and it should all be there to help you. Reading number 3, this is such a powerful reading. I'm in awe of the transformation that you've been through, and really, really honoured to read for you. Thank you for being a part of this amazing community, for checking in with my readings. Thank you for subscribing, liking, sharing. And I am sending you all the love in the world. And I am so, so excited that this new chapter of your world is about to emerge. Super Souls, tons of love. Welcome, and thank you for joining me for this little extra add-on. In this video, I am going to talk to you about some tutorials that I'm going to be creating, videos, and they will be available to access via both Patreon and Vimeo. So, a ton of people have been asking me to do some tutorials around learning to read tarot cards, learning to read the runes, and also about the moon. And I thought long and hard about this. I'm actually in the process of creating a full-blown course. If you're on any of my email lists, or if you follow my readings on YouTube, I will upload a video at some point to tell you about that as soon as it's ready. If you're on any of my email lists, I will send out an email once the course goes live. But when we learn to do something, and I know some of you are incredibly good and experienced tarot readers already yourselves, when we do something, I always think that, well, let me put it this way. I worked as an accredited counsellor, a psychotherapist, for over 28 years. Many of you who know me and follow my readings will know this. It's why that a lot of my work is sort of emotionally and psychologically based. I used to say at a certain point in my career, I actually tutored several groups of students, and I used to say to the students, all the theory that you learn, all the practice that we do before you get out there, the time that you will really, really learn to do the work is when you do it. And the place you will learn the most is your supervision. As a therapist in my profession, we recognise that the learning never stops. It doesn't matter how experienced you are. We learn all the time. We're always gaining information. We're always learning. We're growing. And I think tarot reading is the same. Whether you are a complete beginner or whether you are a really experienced reader, I'm sure for those of you who are experienced, you'll agree with me, we never stop learning and growing. And what I'm going to do in Patreon, because I'm creating a course anyway, rather than do tutorials that sort of start from scratch and go through the step-by-step ways of doing things, that'll be covered in the course. What I'm going to do via Patreon, and I will tell you why in a moment as well, is I'm going to do a series of tutorials. There'll be probably one a month, maybe a little more. It just depends how my schedule is. But these will be like supervision videos, because I do think this is where we really learn. So I will be doing readings predominantly, but I'll be approaching this in lots of different ways. But as I'm doing a reading, I'm literally going to, rather than just do the reading as I do here on YouTube, I'm going to do the reading and really stop and talk about my process, what I'm thinking, what I'm seeing, why I'm connecting to a card in a particular way, because I think this is how we really learn. It's in the doing of it. I hope that these tutorials won't just sort of let you into the way that I work, but will also encourage you to find the confidence to follow your way of doing things. It's exactly the same when you become a counsellor. You can do all your courses, all your own therapy, all your learning. When you start to work with people, you need to find your way of doing things. And I hope that these tutorials, because they'll be done very much in a sort of a supervisory kind of way, sharing of information, sharing my thinking, looking at things from different angles. I hope that this is going to open up not just kind of insights into reading cards and runes and how incredible this is as a tool, and just how incredible it is to have that. It is just amazing to tune into cards and runes. I know loads of you do already, but it really is an extraordinary journey of personal insight and growth as well. But I hope it will really, really encourage you to find the tools that you need to develop your own, learn from me, and develop your own and find the confidence to do things your way. I'm really aiming to work in that kind of supervisory way. So the course that I'm doing, as and when it goes live, will teach you literally from scratch what to do, how to do it, and indeed to find your own pathway with this. These tutorials are very different and very special. It's like having an ongoing monthly supervision session where you really dive into the way that somebody else works. Tons of people have been asking me for this kind of stuff, and I've really thought about it, and I think this is the best way to approach it. The reason I'm doing it through Vimeo and also Patreon is Patreon was set up because I have a huge online library. Again, if any of you are brand new to me and my channel, I worked, as I've just said, as an accredited therapist for over 28 years. That was my main profession. I've read cards and runes all my life, but that was always a personal thing for myself and friends. I see my calling as sort of bridging that gap, actually, and bringing in emotional and psychological knowledge and connecting it to our spiritual pathway and to other ways of personal growth. Patreon was set up so that people who wanted to support the big online library that I have created, it's a free online library, it's a free resource, it'll always be free. I created that as a knowledge base about psychological stuff, particularly about emotions, because they often give us a lot of trouble in life. And that's what I had really learned in my 28 years of psychotherapy practice. You can make donations to the library, but there was no facility in the library for people to contribute ongoing if they wanted to. So Patreon was really set up for that purpose. And thank you so much to those of you who committed to ongoing support. I am so grateful. People have been coming over from YouTube as well and now supporting me through Patreon just because of the readings I do here, the stuff that I put into the world for free. Again, thank you. Huge honour to read for you, and thank you so much for that ongoing support. I actually decided that I wanted to give my Patreon people something back. They have totally chosen of their own free will to give back to me, and I am very humbled actually by the messages that I receive from you and your ongoing support. So doing these tutorials and making them available for Patreon people is my way of giving you a little something back. It's a monthly supervision session about reading tarot cards and runes, and I hope that you will enjoy them. Anyone who's on Patreon will be able to connect into them. For people who would like to access those videos but don't really want to contribute in an ongoing way, and I get that this is not a video of pressure. The readings on YouTube are for free. Everybody's circumstances are different, and we all do what we can when we can. So I will actually put them on Vimeo as well for a very small charge, and if you want to access one or two just to get a taster of what they're like, or you think, do you know what, I'd just like to learn a little bit more, or I will also put them on Vimeo. There will be a small charge for them, but you can access them and look at them there as well. But that's really why they are on Patreon. Initially it was just my way of thinking, well, what can I give back to these amazing people? I know people are asking for tutorials. I'm going to do this for my Patreon people. And then I thought other people might want to link to these too. And so I will kind of make them available through a different avenue as well. So that's about it really at this stage. I don't think I need to say any more. Thank you for watching this little add-on. Thank you so much, all of you who do actually give back. A ton of you also give back through the super thanks in the comments, and I'm always so humbled really by just the generosity, the kindness, the words in your comments. You're just amazing, all of you, and very, very inspirational. It makes me feel that the stuff that I'm putting into the world is really worthwhile. So thank you, all of you. You are absolutely amazing. Tons of love to you all. And yeah, this extra material will be available via Patreon if that is something that you want to do, or as I said, via Vimeo. I will put the links in the information box for the free library. I'll put the information connection, the links to Vimeo and also to Patreon, so that you can find those tutorials if you wish to. Tons and tons of love. I will probably stick this video on the end of several of the readings, so if you, and maybe put it up there anyway, so if you want to find out more about it, you can do so. Tons and tons and tons of love, and yeah, have an amazing week, whatever you are up to, and I will see you again soon.